Last week I made an updated version of one of my most popular top 5s, which I guess you can check out at the top of our screen right now. And you guys seem to really enjoy that, so today I'm going to talk to you guys about another one of my most popular topics, that being 5 characters that are actually, some of the best that it seems like nobody made. So with all that in mind, let's get going for this on patch 3.1 in my own personal opinion. Starting off with Mr. Game & Watch, this is kind of a weird pick, because I feel like some people still think that he's a really bad character, while other people think that he's actually one of the better characters in the entire game, and it's just weird. Everybody's opinions on this character are all over the place, and I think there's a really big reason for that, and that's because Mr. Game & Watch is an extremely unique character that really isn't like anybody else. For myself, I'm going to say that he's probably around high tier, a character that's quite good, but still has a little bit of flaws. But those flaws don't hold him back way too much. While he is, kind of light, and while he can in some cases be outranged, he has a lot of really good stuff about him. And while he can be a little bit hard to get into as he is so unique, with his awkward specials, with his fair that drops a bomb, with his kind of hard to get down combo strings, and his awkward startup lag on the majority of his moves, if you can get past all that, you have a character that has a ton of damage. You have a character that can kill super early. You have a character that can reflect or take in any projectile in the entire game and just destroy certain matchups, so it's essentially unplayable for the opponent. That's so dumb. You have a character that, of course, has really good throw combos. You have a character that has a really good recovery, other than just, being able to get out of every bad situation for free. And you have a down smash that's just, so good. Overall, this character, I feel like, just has so many weird positives about him that kind of end up making him actually pretty darn good. Now, there are still certain matchups like Swords that can, in certain situations, in my opinion, give him troubles. But against the majority of the cast, this is a character that I think has a lot of potential, that's starting to do really well in tournaments, but that we don't really see way too often by too many players. As you've heard me say every time I talk about Ken, I wanted to main this character so bad before he came out for Ultimate. I love Ryu in Smash 4, he's one of my favorite characters to play. I thought the idea of Ken looked so exciting, and a fast, aggressive, fire character that can just do all the combos that Ryu could do, but even more. And then Ultimate came out, and Ken and Ryu both sucked really bad. Ken particularly just didn't work at all, and Ryu, while he was a little bit better because his kit wasn't quite as complex, it still didn't really work at all, and that was so disappointing for everybody that wanted to play those characters. And I feel like now that both these characters are actually not awful, there's a problem, which is that everybody that wanted to pick these characters back up, or pick them up in the first place, all initially picked them up when the game was released, tried them out, and then were disappointed and moved on to someone else. And I feel like this has kind of been the case with both these characters now, where they're both actually quite good. They're both characters that maybe people will eventually start maining, but for now, there isn't that many people on either of them. Now, these characters did get the most buffs that I've ever seen in a patch. They finally work. They're actually good characters now. They are combo fiends. They kill early. They can go ham, as far as, if you're Ken, or actually camp quite well if you're Ryu. They're just explosive fighters that now have both 40 to death combos and like 0 to 60 combos. It's so dumb. But I feel like it just happened a little bit too late. If people would have started, with these characters at the very beginning of the game, they would have loved them. I would have loved them. But people already have a main. People have already moved on. And while maybe in the next few months, they will slowly start to gain a little bit of steam, maybe eventually people like Locust and Venom and other people will eventually start getting more hype on the character, and they'll eventually start to come up. Maybe even I'll start playing the character. For now, it's one of those characters that are really, really good, both Ryu and Ken, but I guess Ryu in particular, that just not that many people are playing at all. Zero Suit Samus is good, just no matter how you look at it. And I know there's the meme from Marth saying Zero Suit Samus sucks all the time. But when you look at the results of this character, Mars, you could say, is carrying the character. That could be true. But even in other places, she just has turned out to be a really good, consistent pick. She's a character that maybe can't 0 to death anymore off grads like she could in the previous game, and maybe can't up air string into up B and kill forever. But in compensation, she is just safer than ever. She is more reliable than ever, and she is more consistent than ever if played perfectly with a new mobility and with a new safety. Now, that does come with the caveat. You do have to play her perfectly, and it also comes with a caveat where she lost the most important thing to why people mained her in the previous game, that being her flashy kills. She kind of lost the main pizzazz that she had, that being, down throw to up air, up B, or up air, up B. People do miss that. People do kind of want that back. People have quit the character for that. And yeah, I think those two things together, just having a very safe neutral, but not really anything spicy about her, and losing her main spice, it makes her still a great character, but makes way less people actually want to play her. I'm going to say that one mastered, this is probably one of the most strong characters in the entire game of Ultimate. Just because mobility is so important, safe arrows are so important, and her grab is actually quite useful in this game, which it wasn't ever in previous games, but just the way that everything's changed, it's not bad. I feel like the problem, though, is that she just doesn't have any broken jank compared to any other characters. She has no roller, she has no wolf blaster, no peach combos, doesn't have a Lucina sword, doesn't have anything that's just super good about her. She has a lot of really good things, but nothing that just breaks the game. You kind of need to earn everything with this character, and overall, that can be a pain to do. Now, I'm going to say that the last thing to mention about this character is you could say that her neutral is incredibly safe, and safe enough that that could be her jank. If you can master that, she can be incredibly annoying to play versus a lot of matchups. But it will take a lot of time to learn her, it will take a lot of effort to learn her, and I think that's the reason why not very many people have picked her up, mainly because she is so hard to play now, and as well, she's not nearly as flashy as before. Lucario is a character that I've loved watching literally in every single Smash game. In Project M, oh, he is so fun to watch. If you go into Melee, he's not there. If you go into Brawl, he's really fun to watch. Maybe not the best, but pretty fun. Smash 4, Frostbite, Sue, one of the best things I've ever seen. And even in Smash Ultimate, he's still an extremely fun character to watch. And the reason for this is that it's just such a unique character. It's a character that has a really good projectile, that has a great command grab, that can play close up, that can play far away, that can kind of do whatever he wants to. And while he does, somewhat favor a more defensive playstyle, Lucario's kind of all over the place. And I think that just makes the character very interesting. Now, in the most recent patch, Lucario actually got a lot of buffs that make his moves just actually work more often. This was a big problem Lucario's always had. His moves just don't connect for some reason. That happened even worse in Ultimate for some reason. But now they have bigger hitboxes, connect better, and as well, he actually got his Aura Sphere combos back, which were for some reason removed in an earlier patch in Ultimate, but now they're finally back, so, it's overall a really good time for Lucario right now. Now, even without these buffs, I'm going to say that Lucario has always been good. He's one of the fastest characters in the air, which is extremely important in the game where you spam aerials all the time. Is really safe if you space all your aerials, and can also do a lot of cross-ups, which is really great. He, of course, can use his Aura Sphere like Samus in order to get even more mobility, which I think people have been underutilizing way more than people are really realizing. Samus has do so much for it, but Lucario's I haven't seen way too much. And I guess the final thing to say about him is, yeah, he still has his aura, but he's even better without it now. But he still has that aura, he still has that comeback mechanic. His moves in general just do kind of okay now, they just do alright damage all the time, but when you get his aura, it's still busted. Now, I will say that there is one problem with Lucario that has been kind of frustrating for Lucario mains. A, he was made a little bit lighter in this game, which, yeah, kind of does suck. And B, more people just have reliable kill confirms in Smash Ultimate than Smash 4, or at least I feel like most characters do, or just can kill a little bit earlier or anything like that, can throw out their kill moves easier. And that kind of sucks as Lucario because it means that you are going to be dying a little bit earlier on average than previously, and that means you're going to be using your aura a little bit less, and that's a little bit weird. But I'm going to say that having 3 stocks actually does help him a lot in this game. At least in my opinion. It makes him a lot more consistent because while sometimes you may get killed really early, other times you might be able to last a long time with that 1 stock, abuse that 1 stock, get a bajillion kills and damage with that 1 stock. And I feel like it makes him a little bit more consistent, a little bit more fun. Overall, a character that I think is just extremely slept on in this game. And I really wish we had a Lucario main to pick him up, to show everyone what they could do. Everyone at this point I feel like is still dropping him, but maybe after the buffs, maybe someone will finally pick him up and do well, I don't know. Why does nobody play Marth? Why does literally nobody play Marth? People play Dr. Mario. People play Daisy rather than Peach. People play Dark Pit. Nobody plays Marth. The last time I've seen a Marth in tournament has been literally never. In my actual homegrown tournaments, never. And in local tournaments, never. And if you want to go to, online tournaments like VG Bootcamp, like 6 months ago. Where did Marth go? I don't know. It's so weird because Marth has the same frame data, the same speed, the same range, and almost every benefit of Lucina with some actual benefits over her, and nobody mains him. TLDR, he is an extremely good character. He copies one of the best characters in the entire game, or I guess I should say, she copies his moveset. Now, I will say right here, yes, his tippers did get nerfed. That is so obvious, and that is a big reason why people play Lucina over him. I'm not arguing that Marth is better than Lucina at all. That is pretty obvious that Lucina is better. More people pick her up. She just is a lot more consistent, kills earlier, all of that. But even with the smaller hitboxes, and there's no real great ways to lead into his tippers anymore, like no Jab F Smash, they're still pretty good, and the character in general is still really good. He's still super safe. And I'm just so surprised that nobody picks him up, because while he is, I guess, a little bit worse than Lucina, even a decent amount worse, I think he's just a lot more fun. Having to focus on that spacing, getting those rewards, feeling that tipper F smash, and all this tippers. They're just more fun in my opinion, and I'm really surprised that nobody's really done that. Now, my main guess to why nobody's playing Marth is because if you're playing a Swordy, and you're playing someone that's not high tier or top tier anyways, you're probably a player that just wants to win. You don't really care about your character, you don't really care about who you're playing, you just want to take that win, which is acceptable, so you go to Lucina. And I'm guessing that's kind of what's happened to Marth. And since they're so similar and Lucina just seems better, everybody's gone to her. But still, he's just a more fun, more interesting Lucina in my opinion. That may be a little bit worse. But yeah, I've seen more mains for like Echo Fighters that have literally no differences than Marth in Tournament. Where did he go, man? Where did he go? I hope eventually we see someone just playing this character. He's, in my opinion, one of the most interesting sword characters, if not the most interesting sword character in the entire game just to watch. I hope that eventually, someday, we can see something of this guy. I hope that eventually, someday, his tipper gets buffed, or he gets changed in a meaningful way so you can actually see him instead of Lucina, or with Lucina. I don't want to see one over the other, really, just both. As it is right now, though, I think he's definitely one of the strongest characters, if not the strongest character, that nobody ever plays for really no great reason. But anyways, that is my list of the 5 best characters that nobody mains right now in patch 3.1 of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And I'd really like to hear you guys' own opinions. What characters do you say are actually some of the best that you just never see for some reason? I'm sure a lot of spammer characters could come up on that list. Other than that, I'd just like to hear you guys' opinions. Now, if you want to see the first version of this video, which came out a long time ago, like 4 months, but could still give you some good information, top of our screen right now is going to be a card for a playlist of that video and more top 5s like this, so I definitely recommend to check that out. Subscribe if you want to see more like this in the future, and leave a like to tell me that, you enjoyed this video. That all said, guys, thanks for watching, and have a smashing day.